always forward, always down, and neither left nor right. Last night I finished the 5th Sun Eater book by Christopher Ruocchio, Ashes of Man, and it was incredible. To the surprise of literally no one, it was yet another absolutely incredible addition to the Sun Eater book. However, having said that, I must also admit that I did not enjoy this one as much as Kingdoms of Death. Before this, every new Sun Eater book I would read, I enjoyed more than the last one. I enjoyed Howling Dark more than Empire of Silence, Demon in White more than Howling Dark, Kingdoms of Death more than Demon in White. You know, even the novellas. I enjoyed Queen Amid Ashes more than I did The Lesser Devil. So every time I go into a new Sun Eater book, I'm always thinking, oh, this is going to be the one that tops the last one, because that's been the trend. And I just have to say immediately, Ashes of Man, for me, didn't do that. But despite that, it is still an excellent novel. So let's get straight into it. I only have 2 critiques and then nothing but good things to say. First of all, there is a major twist in this book, and I don't know if it's because it's first person or because it's the way Chris executed this twist, but I didn't feel the emotions that I was expecting to feel at such a big twist. I have always struggled to read first person as well as I've read third person. I know that doesn't really make sense, but third person has always been my preferred point of view, because I feel like you get the chance to see all sides of an argument, and first person unfortunately limits that. So I don't know if that's the reason the twist here didn't work for me, or if it's just because like it's the way it's written and it happens so suddenly. It probably didn't help that I saw it coming from like literally the first chapter of this book. I was like, oh, this is the twist in this book. Like this is the only twist I can imagine like being left. And then it happened and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that coming. That's kind of disappointing. So I don't know. I'm just gonna say I didn't really love the twist in this book. Like it's still a good twist, but I just didn't love it as much as I thought I would. Secondly, I've been a huge fan of the final chapter in every single one of the Sun Eater books so far. I think that they're usually some of the best chapters in the entire book, because it leaves you on this massive cliffhanger of maybe how are we going to get out of this, or I can't believe all that just happened. This one, it really feels like it just ends and it leaves you feeling hollow. Now, on one hand, I think it's done purposefully, right? It doesn't have this epic finale. It's kind of more like, hey, a bunch of terrible stuff just happened in the last 2 books. Maybe you should take a breath, because guess what? More terrible stuff is probably going to happen in the next book. That's how this book ending feels to me, where it's like, hey, take a breath. But I didn't want to take a breath. I want it to be like punched in the heart repeatedly, and this ending didn't give me that. It's still a really good ending, but I would probably say out of all the ones I've read so far for Sun Eater, probably my least favorite. Just going to be honest. Not my favorite final chapter. Despite those things, this book is still absolutely incredible. Do not get it twisted. Ashes of Man is an absolutely phenomenal book. It's a great Sun Eater book, and I think Chris is probably one of the greatest fantasy/science fiction writers of our generation. The dude is like 30 at most, I think, and he's pumping out consistent content at such a high level that it blows my mind. Everyone talks about Brandon Sanderson and how great of an author he is and how much he puts out. I gotta say, I think personally for me, Chris is better. I don't know if it's because I relate to his story more. I don't know if it's the setting that I enjoy more. But this dude has put out 5 books that I've read, and not a single one of them have gone below an 8.5 for me. And that continues here. I mean, that is a level of content and writing that you just don't see in the average author. You know, even Sanderson for me has some misses. Chris does not have a single miss for me yet. And I'm seriously doubting that Disquiet Gods, and then eventually the 7th book, whatever that might be called, is going to be a miss for me. So let's just break it down, right? The characters, brilliant as always. Just exactly what you come to expect, especially with Hadrian. I think he's probably one of the greatest protagonists we've gotten out of science fiction since Paul Atreides, and I'm not joking. I mean, he's that level of a just great character. He truly just envisions this hero that you don't necessarily expect, and you realize by Ashes of Men why he becomes the Sun Eater. And it's completely, I'm not going to say, actually, yeah, I am going to say it's completely justified why he becomes the Sun Eater. It is completely and utterly justified. Secondly, the pacing here is excellent again. I think the first 2 books had a small pacing issue in my opinion. I felt like we could have had the plot move along faster. But ever since Demon in White, these books have been just one thing after another, roller coaster of emotion. There is no slowing down. There is no breathing room. Everything terrible is happening. Everything great is happening all at once. And it's really well done. The action continues to be absolutely fantastic. I think he's getting better at writing action in every single one of his books. It feels more clear, more cut. I feel like I'm understanding better what he's trying to describe. Again, just wonderful stuff. The world building and the lore continues to be top tier. And I even think that his character writing when it comes to people who aren't Hadrian is at some of the best here. No spoilers, but the Emperor is a serious presence in this book, and I absolutely adored him. I thought his character was absolutely excellent and so well done. I mean, I said earlier that I struggle to get attached to characters in first person, that sometimes first person doesn't work for me the way that I want it to. But I will say Chris really writes so well that even though I struggle at points, there are also points where I'm like, wow, I really, really love that character. And I really love to see their dynamic. And I really just, like, it's just really well done. So, yeah. To the surprise of literally nobody, Ashes of Man is an excellent book. It's an excellent addition to the science fiction genre. It's an excellent addition to Sun Eater as a series. And I am very excited to start Disquiet Gods, which is the 6th book and the last one that is currently out. So I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I liked it a little bit more than Empire Silence, but a little less than Howling Dark, so it's somewhere in there. But yeah, that's it. Another great book. Highly recommend. Please read this series. If you haven't, you will be doing yourself a massive favor.